Recently, troubling news emerged from satellite images showing a severe incident involving a Type 039 submarine docked at Wuchang Shipyard. Tom Sutka, former U.S. Navy submarine officer and now a senior researcher at an American think tank, analyzed the satellite images of Wuchang Shipyard. On June 13, the images clearly showed 4 crane barges around Submarine, indicating emergency repairs. Further high-resolution images from June 15 revealed even more details. Not only were there 4 or 5 barges, but also orange oil containment booms placed next to the submarine. By July 5th, the barges were gone and the submarine had disappeared. A submarine of similar size, about 70 meters long, was spotted 1,300 meters to the west, but it's uncertain if it was the same one. This location, the Shuangliu Shipyard, is a new area along the Yangtze River, 53 kilometers downstream from the old plant in Wuhan. It is mainly responsible for the final outfitting of the launched Type 039C submarines. No official information has been released yet, but the presence of oil containment booms suggests that an oil leak might be the main cause of the incident. Based on available information, we can infer that the oil leak likely occurred before June 13, while the submarine was in the outfitting stage. The compartments would have been sealed with workers inside. An oil leak could accumulate fuel inside and leak outside, posing a high risk of fire or explosion. Submarines have cramped and complex interiors, especially if the leak is in a hard-to-reach area, making internal repairs extremely difficult. Poor ventilation lighting conditions add to the challenge. Underwater repairs are even more difficult and risky. The safest approach might have been to lift the submarine out of the water for repairs. Satellite images show that the shipyard brought in 4 barges and placed oil containment booms around, indicating they had already taken emergency measures to control the leak and were preparing to lift the submarine for repairs. The fact that 4 cranes were used to lift the submarine suggests the severity of the incident. The estimated amount of leaked oil is considerable, and the repair work is undoubtedly highly challenging. In the defense industry, shipbuilding accidents are often closely related to human factors. The Chinese Navy's submarine force has grown rapidly in recent years, with a heavy construction workload, high production pressure, and tight schedules. Workers' pay and benefits should be improved to motivate them, but this is not the case. At Wuchang Shipyard, for example, the average monthly salary of welders is only 5,000 yuan, translating to an annual income of just 60,000 yuan. This is disproportionately low given the technical complexity and manufacturing difficulty of advanced submarines like the Type 039C. The submarine uses a lot of advanced equipment and precision instruments. If workers in key positions like welding and assembly are dissatisfied with low wages, it is hard to guarantee they will maintain a positive work attitude and quality. These employees also work in very harsh conditions. They work long hours in cramped compartments filled with smoke and noise, which is seriously harmful to their health. Without proper economic compensation, their job satisfaction declines. In this environment, carelessness, cutting corners, and even passive sabotage can become common. Over time, production accidents become almost inevitable. In contrast, American defense companies place much more importance on this. For example, at General Dynamics Electric Boat, welders involved in submarine construction can earn between $50,000 and $90,000 annually, which is 7 to 12 times more than their Chinese counterparts. Such generous compensation, along with comprehensive vocational training and labor protection, provides ample motivation for them to strive for excellence and ensure the quality of every process. This time, the accident occurred at the Shuangliu Shipyard of Wuchang Shipbuilding Industry Group, its new headquarters. It has nearly 4 kilometers of riverbank and can build various ships under 30,000 tons, making it one of the important production bases for Chinese Navy conventional submarines. It is reported that multiple improved models of the Type 039 conventional submarine, including the 039A, 039B, and 039C, are produced at the Shuangliu Shipyard. Just last December, at least 3 Type 039C submarines were exposed by Chinese military media. There's another Type 039C submarine that has already been in service for a year with a submarine unit in the Chinese Navy's Eastern Theater Command. The Type 039C submarine first appeared in June 2021, with its most notable feature being the unique mushroom head design. This design aims to reduce the acoustic characteristics of the hull, enhancing the submarine's stealth capabilities. In fact, the design of the mushroom head is inspired by Sweden's A-26 submarine. By adopting a similar streamlined bow, the sonar reflection area of the submarine can be effectively reduced. It also has a special sound-absorbing coating. Going back further, the Type 039B submarine was revealed in social media in 2010. It features streamlined fore and aft fairings and is equipped with a new Type 205 passive sonar array. Additionally, it is fitted with a domestically produced Stirling engine, making it an AIP or air-independent propulsion submarine, which extends its underwater operation time. It is worth noting that China's AIP submarine technology was initially introduced from Sweden. Despite significant advancements in performance through years of absorption and independent innovation, there is still a considerable gap in reliability and stability compared to the advanced levels of the West. The domestically produced Stirling engines in China can deliver higher power under certain conditions, but they frequently encounter malfunctions in practice and require frequent maintenance. In contrast, the original Swedish engines are much more reliable, offering quick starts, stable output, and very low failure rates, meeting the needs of long-term operations. The differences in performance are due to the gaps in the manufacturing processes of core components and insufficient system integration and debugging capabilities. Key materials like high-temperature alloys and special coatings cannot be fully produced domestically and must be imported. These domestic materials may develop cracks or deformations in specific environments, affecting the mechanical and electrical properties of components and, consequently, the system's stability. Additionally, China's system design and testing generally do not take extreme environmental conditions into account. Beyond materials and design, human factors play a significant role. From frontline workers to engineers, managers, and decision-makers, there is a tendency to pursue quick success, take shortcuts, and rush progress. When faced with difficulties, the response is often to retreat rather than confront challenges head-on. The spirit of striving for excellence is notably lacking. Another often overlooked issue is the accumulation and transfer of experience. The use and maintenance of complex equipment like submarines involve a lot of tacit knowledge that cannot be found in textbooks. It requires long-term accumulation and summarization in frontline positions. This demands a stable, high-quality professional team with a sound management system and incentive mechanism. In these areas, Chinese military enterprises are inherently lacking compared to developed Western countries. As a result, the borrowed technology does not translate into the same quality and performance as original Western versions. In fact, the 039A, which entered service in 2006, is the ancestor of the 039C. This is a product that China borrowed from Russia's Kilo-class technology. This type of submarine uses a single-axis, single-propeller propulsion, a 7-blade propeller with a diameter of more than 2 meters. With more blades, the rotational speed can be lower, which can reduce noise. The 7 blades also produce fewer and less dense bubbles when rotating at high speeds, reducing the noise generated by the bubble. The shape of the 039A is essentially a replica of the Russian Kilo-class, with a streamlined hull, a large bow, and an ultra-low sail, giving it a rounded and full appearance overall. The propulsion system is the same as the 039 type, still using conventional diesel-electric propulsion. It surfaces to charge, relying on a diesel engine to generate electricity for the batteries, which then drive the electric motor to turn the propeller. Specifically, it uses 3 German MTU 396 series 16-cylinder diesel engines, each with a power of 13,600 horsepower. MTU engines are known for their high power density and low vibration, making them a reliable choice for power. Later, domestically produced imitation models became standard power equipment for Chinese conventional submarines. However, this also gave the West a chance to have some leverage against China. For instance, the recent contract to sell the export-modified S-26T version of the 039 type to Thailand fell through because Germany banned the supply of engines. Starting in 2015, the 039A began to appear frequently in the Indian Ocean. It first accompanied an escort fleet to the Gulf of Aden and later visited Tanzania and Sri Lanka. These moves indicate that China wants to deploy submarines to further seas. However, such long-distance deployments demand higher reliability from submarines, and China lacks ocean-going experience, making each deployment a risky venture. A total of 4 039A submarines were built, 18 of the 039B and 4 of the 039C, with more likely to be ordered. These three types of submarines are expected to become the main force of China's conventional submarine force. However, there are differing views on the actual combat power of Chinese submarines. Since 2007, the frequency of Chinese submarine activities has significantly increased, reflecting an increase in strength, but this has also given the U.S. military more opportunities to collect sound signals from Chinese submarines. According to the U.S. military, the stealth of Chinese submarines is far from what the Chinese government claims. In 2013, Japan's Ministry of Defense disclosed details of Chinese submarine activities 3 times. 2 of these incidents involved the 039A, whose movements were easily detected. The other involved a Kilo-class submarine, which was relatively more concealed. Japan speculates that the Chinese Navy intended to use the noise of the 039A to cover the Kilo-class submarine, creating a diversion. The noise level of Chinese nuclear submarines is about 110 decibels, while the U.S. Seawolf class is only 95 decibels, and Japan's Soryu class is about 105 decibels. Although 110 decibels is much quieter than the past 150 decibels or so, the U.S. monitoring systems, which could detect 90 decibel submarines during the Cold War, are now even more sensitive, making it easy to detect Chinese submarines. This means that in a direct confrontation with the U.S. military, Chinese nuclear submarines are unlikely to have much chance of success. In 2021, when the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier passed through the South China Sea, it detected 3 093 type attack nuclear submarines tailing it. The 093 type nuclear submarine is one of China's most secretive strategic weapons. The fact that the British could detect it indicates that the stealth capabilities of Chinese submarines are still insufficient, and that the sound characteristics of the 093 have been identified by the British. Clearly, this data was shared by the Americans, and naturally the Japanese also have access to this data, significantly reducing the deterrent effect of Chinese nuclear submarines near the first island chain. This force, composed of 40 Kilo-class and 039 series conventional submarines and a dozen nuclear submarines, stands little chance of competing with U.S. submarines. Just look at the significant problems they encountered during outfitting stages. It's hard to predict how many more issues they might face underwater. Recently, on June 18, a Taiwanese fishing boat operating near the median line of the Taiwan Strait suddenly saw a submarine surface. The fishermen were startled and didn't know what was happening. Later, a Chinese warship arrived to assist and escorted the submarine, which remained on the surface. From the photos, it's speculated that the submarine might be a Type 096 Yuan-Class nuclear submarine. It should be noted that the Type 096 is an upgraded version of the Type 093, yet it still proved unreliable. The crew probably remembered the lessons from the accident with the Type 093 Hull 417 last year and preferred to surface rather than take further risks. Speaking of the 417, that incident caused quite a stir. On August 21st of last year, the Type 093 nuclear submarine had an accident during a training exercise in the Yellow Sea, resulting in the deaths of 55 out of 56 crew members. Only one survived, as he happened to be performing maintenance outside the submarine at the time. The accident occurred as follows. The 417 got entangled in some underwater obstacles laid by China itself, and a diver was sent to remove them. According to regulations, the diver was supposed to carry 3 gas cylinders: oxygen, hydrogen, and liquefied gas. However, the diver accidentally connected the liquefied gas to the oxygen line while hooking up the hoses. When he returned from the task, he found the hatch couldn't open and realized something was wrong. The submarine surfaced urgently to request assistance, but by the time rescue personnel entered the cabin, all 55 officers and soldiers had perished. More critically, there was no gas detection device installed on the submarine, so everyone was unaware they were inhaling toxic gas. These 55 victims were not ordinary personnel. They were either officers or key technical staff, including 7 future ship and submarine captains. The loss of these experienced Corps members effectively nullified the experience accumulated from years of joint naval exercises between China and Russia. The fact that the accident happened to the improved 093B model, which still had issues, highlights the severity of the problems. These incidents reveal numerous issues in the design, construction, and management of Chinese submarines. During the outfitting stage, which is the final phase of construction and inspection, severe oil leakage problems were reported. If quality control is challenging during construction, predicting the performance in actual combat is even more uncertain. In the vast ocean, dangers such as hidden reefs, turbulent currents, and sudden changes in sea conditions are everywhere. Any minor mechanical failure could put the submarine's crew's lives at risk, which is currently the Achilles heel of the Chinese submarine force. Compared to traditional naval powers like the U.S., China has very limited experience in submarine warfare. Neither the quality of equipment nor the training personnel can match up. This gap is not something that can be bridged in the short term.